All right, so you're gearing up for this rental service representative interview,
Yeah.
which means you're about to step into a world where, like, customer service needs heavy machinery, right?
Yeah.
We're talking tools, vehicles, tech, you name it, people rent it.
It really is a fascinating blend. You've got logistics, you need some technical know-how, and then, of course, the all-important people skills,
Hmm?
especially when they're stressed about a project.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this deep dive into these RoleCatcher resources.
Hmm.
They have this career guide, the interview guide, and we'll even look at their AI, see how they can give you a more personalized edge.
Okay.
Basically, we're going to extract the nuggets you need to not just answer interview questions, but understand what this job is really about.
Right. So we'll break down those common questions, we'll help you frame your answers, even try to anticipate those tricky follow-up questions.
Yeah, those can really throw you off.
Exactly.
Okay, so first things first, what does a rental service representative actually do? The career guide paints a pretty dynamic scene.
Well, you're the point person for that entire rental process. A customer walks in and they need, let's say, a specific piece of equipment.
Okay.
You're not just handing over keys, you're figuring out what their needs are, making sure they get the right tool for the job, explaining the terms, safety procedures, insurance. It's a lot more than just paperwork.
Right, so you need a good balance of that technical knowledge, knowing the equipment, but also the people skills to guide those customers. And the guide also mentions this can be physically demanding, sometimes in a warehouse, sometimes outdoors.
Absolutely. That's something to really think about. Can you see yourself on your feet all day, maybe dealing with heavy machinery in all kinds of weather? It's not for everyone, but if you're hands-on, this could be a great fit.
Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of the role, let's tackle some of those interview questions. RoleCatcher has identified 8 common ones, and we'll dive into each one, offering insights and strategies to craft, like standout answers.
Remember, these aren't just about, reciting memorized responses. It's about showing the interviewer who you are and why you are the best fit for this specific role.
Right.
Yeah.
So first up, what inspired you to pursue a career in rental services? Now, I know we all like working with people,
Sure.
but we need something a bit more compelling than that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. This is your chance to really showcase your passion,
Yeah.
Think about what genuinely excites you about this field. Is it the problem-solving aspect, helping people find that perfect tool for the job?
Yep.
Or maybe it's the fast-paced environment, the variety of equipment you get to work with?
Yeah. Or maybe you've always been fascinated by like how things work and you love explaining technical concepts to other people.
Oh yeah, that's gold.
That's gold.
And don't be afraid to share a personal story, right? Maybe you helped a friend with a DIY project and realized, hey, I actually enjoy explaining how to use tools. Or maybe you were always tinkering with things as a kid, taking them apart, putting them back together. Those anecdotes really bring your passion to life.
Yeah, for sure. Now, imagine the interviewer follows up with something like, what do you think are the biggest challenges in this role? How would you approach that?
Well, this is where you demonstrate that you understand the industry and the specific demands of the job. You could talk about the importance of staying up to date on the new equipment and technologies, or the need to balance customer satisfaction with safety regulations, even the challenges of managing inventory and making sure the maintenance is done on time.
So it shows you've thought critically about the role and you're prepared for those hurdles.
Right, and it gives you a chance to highlight those problem-solving skills and your willingness to learn and adapt.
Okay, let's move on to question 2. How would you handle a difficult customer who's unhappy with their rental experience? Now, everyone says they're good at this, so how do you actually set yourself apart?
I think it's about going beyond the generic answers like, I'm a people person, and demonstrating you have a system, a mindset for handling these tough interactions.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce?
Well, first, emphasize active listening. Let the customer vent their frustrations, without interrupting them. Show that you genuinely care about understanding their issue.
Right, it's about diffusing that initial anger, showing you're on their side.
Exactly. And then rephrase their concerns back to them. Make sure you understand them correctly. This shows you're paying attention and taking their complaint seriously.
Okay, so you've listened, you've understood, then what?
Now it's problem-solving time. Offer them concrete solutions. Maybe it's a replacement piece of equipment, a discount on their next rental. Maybe you connect them with a technician who can troubleshoot the issue.
But what if the customer is being unreasonable, like making demands you just can't meet?
This is where you stay calm, professional. Reiterate your commitment to finding a solution while politely explaining any limitations. maybe based on company policy or safety regulations.
That's a tough balance.
Yeah.
And how do you leave that customer feeling, even if they didn't get everything they wanted?
End the interaction on a positive note. Express empathy for their situation, thank them for bringing it to your attention, and assure them that you're there to help.
Okay, so we've covered listening, understanding, problem solving, ending on a positive note. That's a solid framework for handling those difficult customer situations.
And don't forget, the interviewer might follow up with something like, tell me about a time you successfully resolved a conflict with a customer. This is where you bring that framework to life with a compelling story.
Right, a story that showcases your skills in action and leaves a lasting impression.
Exactly. And before we move on, let's not forget how RoleCatcher's AI can help tailor your answers.
Oh yeah, this is where things get interesting. Their AI can analyze those job descriptions, identify key skills, and provide personalized feedback on your responses.
Yeah, it's like having a virtual coach right in your pocket. For example, their AI could analyze your answer to this question about handling a difficult customer and offer suggestions to make it more specific, like aligned with the company's values or the type of equipment they rent.
So if the company specializes in heavy construction equipment, the AI might suggest you highlight your experience dealing with safety concerns or your knowledge of industry-specific regulations.
Exactly. It's about going beyond those generic answers and showcasing that you understand their unique needs.
That's a huge advantage. All right, ready to tackle question 3.
Let's do it. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of rental service representatives.
We've already tackled some tough interview questions, and you're probably starting to see how crucial those soft skills are in this role. Listening, communicating clearly, staying calm under pressure.
Absolutely. And these next few questions really dig into those areas. But before we jump in, I want to highlight something from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. It talks about the importance of continuous learning in this field.
That makes sense, right? Because technology is always changing, new equipment comes out all the time.
Exactly. So think about how you can show them you're a lifelong learner. Maybe you've taken online courses or attended industry events. Maybe you follow blogs and podcasts about the rental industry.
It's a great point. Showing you're proactive, passionate about staying ahead of the curve, that can impress an interviewer.
Absolutely. It says, hey, I'm not just looking for a job, I'm looking to build a career.
Okay, back to the interview questions. Question 3 is, how do you prioritize tasks when you're dealing with multiple customers at once? This is all about showcasing those organizational skills, your ability to handle that fast-paced environment.
Right. You want to paint a picture of yourself as the ultimate juggler, someone who can keep all those balls in the air without dropping any.
So, more than just saying I'm organized, how do you really demonstrate that?
Give them a system. Describe your approach to prioritization. Maybe use a to-do list, a specific software, or a mental framework for assessing what's urgent and important.
For example, you could say something like, when I have multiple customers needing assistance, I quickly assess their needs and prioritize based on urgency and the complexity of their requests.
Exactly. And don't just describe it, bring it to life. Give them a real-life example. Maybe you had a situation where one customer needed equipment immediately for an emergency repair, while another had a scheduled pickup. How did you handle both efficiently?
Sharing that story really shows you've faced these challenges and you've got a system.
Exactly. Now imagine the interviewer follows up with, okay, what happens when a high-priority customer interrupts your workflow? How do you handle that?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's testing your adaptability and how you manage those unexpected situations.
You could explain how you acknowledge the interruption, quickly assess the new customer's needs, and then adjust your priorities, communicating any potential delays to the existing customers.
It shows flexibility and transparency, both crucial, right?
Absolutely. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can be a big help. It can analyze your response and suggest ways to tailor it to that specific company. Like if they're a smaller rental company, the AI might suggest highlighting your ability to wear multiple hats, handle a variety of tasks. But if it's a larger company with specialized departments, the AI might suggest emphasizing your ability to collaborate effectively with colleagues.
That's such a smart use of technology.
It's about taking those generic answers and making them sing, making them relevant to that specific company you're interviewing with.
All right, let's move on to question 4. How do you ensure that the rental equipment is in good working condition and meets safety standards? This is all about showing your technical knowledge, your commitment to safety.
This is where you want to show them you're not just a paper pusher. You understand the equipment, you care about safety, and you have a process for ensuring everything is top-notch.
So, More than just saying, I'd check it carefully. Right.
Yeah.
How do you nail this answer?
Walk them through your inspection routine. Describe what you look for, Any signs of wear and tear, damage, fluid leaks, anything that might be a safety hazard or compromise performance?
You could even mention specific tools or checklists you use.
Absolutely. And don't forget to mention your familiarity with safety regulations. If you've got specific training or certifications related to equipment maintenance or safety, this is the time to highlight them.
And of course, a real-life example always makes the answer stronger. Maybe you caught a potential safety issue during an inspection, and it prevented an accident or a customer complaint.
Exactly. That shows you're not just following procedures. You're truly invested in safety and quality.
Now, what if the interviewer asks, what would you do if a customer insisted on renting a piece of equipment that you thought was unsafe?
That's a great question. It tests how you balance customer service with safety protocols. You'd want to explain you understand the customer's needs, but that safety is your top priority. You could offer alternative solutions, like a similar piece of equipment in good working order, or explain the risks of using the damaged one.
So you're not blindly following rules, you're using judgment and communication to find the best solution for everyone.
And once again, RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your response, suggesting specific language, maybe aligning with their safety culture or the type of equipment they rent.
Okay. Question 5. How do you handle conflicts with coworkers or other team members? This one's all about teamwork and navigating those inevitable interpersonal challenges.
Right. You want to show you're a team player who handles conflict constructively. Avoid blaming others or dwelling on the negative. Focus on open communication, active listening, and finding common ground.
So instead of saying, I had this coworker who was always slacking off, you might say, I've encountered situations where team members had differing opinions on how to approach a task. But by listening to each perspective and focusing on shared goals, we usually found a solution that worked for everyone.
That's much better. It highlights your ability to collaborate and resolve conflict professionally. Now imagine they follow up with, tell me about a specific time you had to resolve a conflict with a coworker.
This is your chance to shine with a compelling story, one that showcases your conflict resolution skills in action.
Choose a situation that shows you staying calm, listening to different perspectives, finding a solution that benefits everyone. Maybe you disagreed with a coworker about prioritizing tasks, or there was a miscommunication about equipment availability.
Sharing that story in a way that highlights your positive role in resolving the conflict, that shows you can handle tricky situations with grace and professionalism.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor that response, analyzing the company's values and culture. If they emphasize collaboration, the AI might suggest highlighting your ability to build consensus and foster positive working relationships.
Okay, ready to tackle the next question.
Bring it on.
Welcome back. We're in the home stretch of our deep dive, getting you ready for that rental service representative interview.
Yeah.
We've covered so much, like understanding the day-to-day, tackling those tricky behavioral questions.
You're probably starting to see that this role needs a really unique mix of skills.
Definitely.
Technical know-how, customer service savvy, and problem-solving under pressure.
Yeah, that's not your typical desk job. Speaking of standing out, let's revisit how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an advantage.
Yeah, good point. We've mentioned it a bit, but these tools are powerful. Take their CV builder, for example. It doesn't just scan for keywords. It actually looks at that job description and suggests ways to improve your resume, so it aligns with what that company is looking for.
It's like a personalized resume writer.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's using data and insights from thousands of job postings.
Yeah. And their AI interview practice tool, that's a game changer. You can record yourself answering questions, get feedback on your delivery, content, even your body language.
It's like a mock interview with an expert, but you can do it from home as many times as you need.
And it's all tailored to the job you're going for. The AI pulls information from the job description, the company profile, to give you the most relevant feedback.
Okay, let's switch gears back to the interview questions. This one often throws people off, but it's a great chance to show your value. Why should we hire you?
This is your closing argument, your chance to really sell yourself. But it's not about bragging, it's about connecting the dots for the interviewer.
Right. So how do you go beyond just listing your skills and experience?
Think about what makes you uniquely qualified for this specific role. Have you worked with similar equipment before? Do you have a passion for this industry? One that goes beyond just punching a clock.
Maybe you have a track record of going above and beyond for customers, or you're known for your problem-solving skills. This is when you showcase those strengths.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to reiterate your enthusiasm for the company and the role. Let them know you've done your research, you're excited about this opportunity.
Okay, so you made your pitch, you're feeling good, and then they hit you with, what is your biggest weakness? How do you answer this without sabotaging yourself?
This question is a classic. It's all about seeing if you're self-aware and willing to grow. The key is to choose a weakness that's real but manageable, something you're working on.
Right, so don't say, I'm a perfectionist, or I work too hard.
Exactly. Those are cliches. They sound insincere.
Yeah.
Choose something specific, relevant to the role. Maybe you're still learning about a particular type of equipment. Or you struggle with multitasking when things get hectic.
The important thing is to frame it positively. Explain how you're addressing that weakness, maybe through training, feedback from colleagues, or just being more mindful of how you approach things.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help here. It can look at your response and suggest ways to make it more impactful, maybe tailor it to the company's values.
All right, let's tackle another common question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This one can be tricky, especially if you're just starting out.
Well, it's about showing your ambition, your long-term vision. You don't want to sound like you're just using this as a stepping stone, but you do want to show you want to grow, take on challenges.
So how do you find that balance?
Think about what you genuinely want to achieve in this field. Maybe become a specialist in a certain type of equipment, or see yourself moving into a supervisor or management role.
The key is to align your aspirations with the company's goals. Like if they're expanding into new markets or investing in new tech, you could mention your interest in being part of that.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to express your enthusiasm for learning. Let them know you want to stay ahead of the curve and contribute to the company's success in the long run.
Okay, we've covered so many questions.
We have.
But there's one more I want to touch on because it lets you flip the script and show your initiative. Do you have any questions for me?
This is where you go from interviewee to engaged conversationalist. It's your chance to show you've done your homework, you're curious and genuinely interested.
Okay, so what kind of questions should you ask?
Avoid questions about salary or benefits at this point. Focus on questions about the company culture, their growth plans, or the challenges and opportunities of the role.
So, for example, you could ask about their training and development programs, their approach to customer service, or their vision for the future of the rental industry.
Exactly. Those kinds of questions show you're thinking beyond just this one job. You're thinking about a career with them.
All right. We've reached the end of our deep dive. I hope you're feeling more confident and prepared for that rental service representative interview.
I hope so too.
Remember, it's all about showcasing your passion, your skills, and what makes you uniquely valuable to that company. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI tools are there to help you every step of the way.
They really are fantastic tools.
So go out there, ace that interview, and launch a successful career in this exciting and dynamic field.